crowd was great. The media has been tremendous at following us for all 4 teams, and our local media has been outstanding. I think the turning point of the game was the last 2 minutes of the half. When we scored those 2 baskets and we missed the wide open layup, but boy, we ran the break perfectly. We missed a layup, but all of a sudden we still had momentum. Then we opened it up in the second half, ran 2 set plays, and we got the ball inside all night long. They were a little short-handed because of their size, and sometimes that's what happens when you're at a mid-major. You do not have the 6'3", 6'4" post players consistently. You can win with 6-footers. That's what I did at Stephen F., and Kenny's done a great job of winning. But when the jumpers were not going early, we said keep going inside, get to the free throw line, and 27 free throws in the first half was outstanding. When Walker got into foul trouble, because I was running out of people, I kept looking who's going to guard her next, and because we had 3 of them with 2 fouls, and it wasn't going to be Williams. Jordan was next, and I couldn't risk her on Burkholder, but I thought in the second half we wore them down a little, switched to a zone, and played hope they missed. But the thing is, they were getting 1 and outs, and we were getting the rebound, ran a couple good transition baskets, and then Jordan, 16 assists, could have had 20 if we'd have finished a couple more of hers. But we're going to take the win. Love the crowd. Love James Madison's team. I mean, they've got some special seniors on that team, and the little number 12 kid, she's going to be a heck of a player for them in the future.
Questions for student athletes, please. We begin with Christy.
Carly, can you talk about being able to be so dominant inside and getting them into so much foul trouble with the way you were playing down there?
Basically, we were flowing today, so we got to beat them from the inside first, but then our guards were awesome today, so penetrating to the basket and knocking down shots on the outside, it made it kind of hard to play both. So they were trying to sit on me, but then again, they had to guard everybody else too, so that's why. And great passes, 16 assists, so.
Ronnie.
Jordan, you talked about, I guess it was on Friday, about how you guys were a flow team. And in the first half with all the foul calls, it seemed like you guys weren't quite able to hit that flow that you guys seemed to hit in the second half. Can you just expound on the difference between the 2 halves?
As you said, yeah, we are pretty much a flow team, but with all the fouls being called, especially we wasn't executing our defensive plan, and we just came into halftime, and Coach Starkey just told us that if we execute what he's telling us to do and play with our feet instead of our hands and box out, then we were pretty much going to get what we wanted, and we were going to get out in transition. And as you see, that's what we did, and we started to get into the flow of our offense. And this team really thrives on transition, because once we get to push in transition, it really gives us the look that we want at a secondary, and then eventually setting up our offense. So just in the first half, like you said, the fouls that were being called, it really did slow us down a lot, and not even it's not even more on the refs, but more so on ourselves, because we know better and we know how to play with our feet instead of our hands more. So I mean, Coach Starkey, he's just a great defensive coach. He really came into halftime and made some great adjustments that helped us out. So yeah.
In the very back.
Carla, knowing that this was going to be your last home game, can you describe kind of your feeling coming into it, and now knowing that it's now over, what you're feeling?
I'm excited. I'm looking forward to everything that we have coming in the future. We're not done. We're not willing to settle. So I'm ready to go. I'm excited. I'm ready to get back out there tomorrow. And, I'm ready to finish this senior season off with a great ending.
Anything further for student athletes? Homer.
Carly, you've been a part of 4 teams in the NCAA tournament. Can you describe what the intensity level is in these tournament games? I mean, the crowd and just the tenseness in these tournament games.
I think the intensity level is at its highest peak, just because everybody knows what's on the line. You're 1 and out in this tournament, and then after that, is just get ready for the next season. So everybody is putting their head out there on the line, and they're ready to, give it all they got. And like we were talking about before the game, Coach Starkey was talking about being relentless, and I think that's exactly what the teams have to be in this tournament.
Very back.
Courtney Williams, actually. Never mind, there's only one Courtney. Sorry. Anyway, so I want you to describe this kind of flow team. I mean, you were flowing more than anybody. I mean, you somewhat had an advantage against their smaller players. You also went big as well. Can you talk about your versatility and also being able to flow as this team is seeming to do?
Well, I just tried to take what the defense gave me and find the open gaps. And when I did get the ball in transition, I just tried to find my teammates also because I'm not a selfish player. And I think as we're a flow team as well in transition defense. I think our defense creates turnovers and we get easy buckets. So I think if we continue to do that, we'll keep going far in the playoffs.
Cease.
Carla, can you just talk about last year's loss, this point, putting it behind in such an emphatic way? Can you just talk about moving forward?
I'm glad we're beyond this game. That's all I kept thinking about, before I went to bed last night. It was kind of hard for me to sleep. We cannot end playing at Reed Arena. This could not be it. So that's all that was going on in my head. And I'm just proud of my team. And like I said, I'm excited. I know we're excited, and we're not done. We're hungry. We're ready to keep going.
Anything further for student athletes? We have this will be our last one in the back.
For both of you, Jordan and Courtney, can you kind of take off what Carla said? Was that in the back of your minds as well? This could be the last game of the season with Carla and this 2014 team?
Yeah, we didn't want it to end like last year. We didn't like that feeling, so we just try to come out here and give it our all. And I know me and my teammates, we just want to go as far as we can. And I think we came out here and we gave it all, and we showed that on the court with the passion and everything, diving on the floor, getting steals, and coming out in the second half, being more pressured on defense.
All right, ladies, thank you very much. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
Questions for Coach, please. Here in the middle.
Coach, I want to get your thoughts on some of the foul calls. Obviously, kind of hamstrung JMU down the stretch, but I wanted to get your thoughts on those.
The foul calls, you said? Well, when you have one team that's trying to go inside 80%, there's going to be a disparity on fouls. And that's what we're trying to do. And we were going to go inside, make the whistle happen. And there was a number of times in the second half we went inside, and Carla had to finish because she was getting fouled. And they were not all calls, but she's got to be tough enough to finish those. But I think we earned every one of those fouls. And that's all part of it, because you go look at the tape on Carla's first foul of the game and let me know who she touched. And so what I try to do is I take her out after the first foul of the game to let the referee settle down, not my players. And then because I want Carla to know how important she is to us, I can't let her get her second foul. I made a mistake and put Walker on 20 for a couple possessions and 2 fouls in about 3 minutes. That's how hard she is to guard. And then it cost me having her in there in the first half for about 8 minutes. But the fouls, hey, I've been on that other end before. And right now we were the larger team. You go inside, you're either going to steal the pass or you're going to have to foul us.
We'll go to Cease.
Expand about on that, Gary, the defensive plan on Burkholder, why you were able to hold her down tonight. I noticed you did have 2 or 3 players on her different time. Walker did.
Any time, again, we played this lineup because more or less they're a 4-guard team. 24 is a 4-player who plays like a guard. She's an excellent player. She's got a pull-up jumper. I don't think we stopped it the whole night. She might have missed a 1 or 2, but we didn't stop it. She was 6 out of 10. But what you want to do is when you play a great player, whether it's Odyssey Sims or Shoni Schimmel or whoever, you want them to shoot under 33%, okay? Under 33%. Make them earn it. And that's what we did again tonight. And I thought we did a good job. She was 5 out of 14. She got a little tired, but when she has to do so much for that team, offensively, defensively, leadership-wise, and she just knows how to get open. And I thought my players were guarding her too tight early. And she would just use her hands like a good veteran and push you off like she was Carmelo Anthony or somebody. She knew how to use her hands to get open to post. And I kept telling my girls, when she's away from the ball, get off of her so when she makes a cut, you can chuck her that way. Because she's a heck of a player, but she had to work for everything she got tonight.
Christy?
Y'all are one of 5 SEC teams in the Sweet 16. Can you talk about the dominance of your conference in the tournament this year?
Who's the one that got beat today? Florida. I'm happy for our conference. I think it's back. The SEC is back. And I think it says a lot because of what we've done at the top. All of the top 4s did. I'm happy for LSU. You can see what hosting can mean. Hosting is huge because you get your crowd involved. I'm just happy for my league because I think it's very balanced and it's even going to be so much better next year. I better get on the recruiting trail, which I will be by tomorrow night.
Over here on the right.
Coach, can you talk a little bit about what Carla Gilbert has meant to your team?
I don't think any of us, except probably Carla and her parents, knew how doggone good she was, okay? Because she didn't dominate in high school, okay? I know where to put her, and I kept her down low the majority of her career, and she's just very effective. Yeah, she's better with the left hand. She's right-handed. She's better shooting left than she is right. I've never seen that in a right-hander before, but she just got the heart of the gold. Nothing rattles her. This is why she's going to be one of the best teachers, because you have to have patience to be a great teacher. If she goes into coaching, she's going to have to get a deeper voice because she's got that little soprano voice. She's going to have to get mean every now and then, but I just love that kid to death, and she takes control of our team. She's the mama of our team. Nothing ever rattles her, and I'm proud to say I was her coach.
Over here on the left, Olin.
Gary, what do you like most about this team?
About the what?
About this team, like your team. What do you like most about it?
I think we're pretty resilient. We don't get caught up on ourselves. You look at our leading scorer, she's probably the quietest kid on the team, Courtney Walker. You look at Courtney Williams, she's probably got the most potential. And then you look at Carla Gilbert, she might be our most valuable player. But then when you look at Jordan Jones, look what she's done in the last month, okay? You find me a point guard in the country that's done as much for her team as she has. And then she's been able to hit the big three when we needed it, particularly in the last 5 or 6 games. And she's got all the confidence in the world right now. She's playing like a winner, and then I've got a lot of supporting actresses. And Tori Scott does another 3 for 3. Sherry Aday. The matchups in the last 2 games hadn't made me utilize her at the post as much as I could do with 4-guard lineup. I just like my team. They get along. One of our biggest thoughts was today, one of the greatest gifts you can have is to be a great teammate. And we have a lot of kids that are great teammates to each other, particularly Kristen Grant, my senior. She's been a great teammate and a teacher, and she hadn't griped about her minutes or anything. She's just been happy to have her opportunities. So maybe we got one of those magical teams this year. Who knows? We just taken this one game. We're ready for DePaul. Bring on the Blue Demons. There's not two better coaches in the game that love baseball more than Doug Bruno and I. And he's a Cubs fan, and I'm a Ranger fan, and we'll talk about that and talk about fantasy baseball and everything. So I'm looking forward to talking to Doug.
Got time for a couple more. We'll go to the very back.
Coach, a lot of your players described you guys as a flow team, and do you think you guys are flowing at the right points and at the right time now in the postseason?
I think we are. What I've got to do is I've got to get more kids into the game early because Jordan wants to run. And sometimes I look around and Jordan's leading the break and she's having to finish the break because I got to get my wings and my posts down the court a little bit quicker. And right now we feel good about ourselves, but so does everybody else in the Sweet 16. We're not a step ahead of ourselves. We're not looking for Connecticut. We're not looking for Stanford or Baylor. We're looking for the big Blue Demons, okay, of DePaul. And this is what this team, we've got a short turnaround. We've got to leave out of here Thursday. By the way, all the local people, the NCAA would not allow us to announce that we're going to try to get a bus to Lincoln. So if you can put that in and just have them call our offices or something, hopefully we can have some more information to get our fans. I hadn't figured that out, why we could not announce that we were going to try to get transportation. But the NCAA knows what's best for all of us.
Homer.
Coach, you've talked about the A&M community embracing March Madness. It really seems like they have. Can you just talk about how they've taken to this tournament?
Is there a better 3 weeks than what's going on in March Madness? And I would say probably maybe 4 weeks, because the conference tournament and the 3 weeks that you have of March Madness. I think for once you're not worried about who got drafted. That'll be in June. You're not worried about who signed with who. We're talking about basketball. It's a game that a lot of us are experts at, sitting in the stands or watching on computers. I love to watch basketball. The hardest thing for me was the 2 weeks that we were off. I was watching too much basketball. And I filled out a bracket, but I can't turn it in. So we didn't win $1 billion. But I can't turn it in. But my two in the Final Four for the men are Louisville and Michigan State, and I think I've got about 12 other teams still in there. So I hadn't lost all of mine. I love it. I love what it's about. Spring training and baseball is getting ready to start. Golf, the Masters is coming, but right now it's March Madness. And I think it's special. In this town, it's starting to create a buzz. It's going to be, I'm anxious to see how many people will actually get in the cars and drive to see us, or get on the bus, or get on an airplane and come to Lincoln. Why wouldn't you want to see the road to perfection, or whatever ESPN is saying? Look what Connecticut is doing. That was one of the most perfect basketball teams I saw when I watched the first half of that basketball game today. And it's great for basketball, but it would even be better for basketball if there's a DePaul or a Texas A&M or somebody like that that can get to the Final Four. So we're all going to work hard together. We're all going to compile our teams and see what we can come up with.